My parents chuckled. Your kids will never be as successful as your sisters. I stood up and said, Then tell her to pay all the bills. I'm not sending money anymore. Mom froze. What money? We never got a cent from you. My name's Kathy. I'm 33, the oldest daughter. The one who remembers everyone's birthdays and keeps spare phone chargers in my purse just in case. I work as an operations manager for a logistics company. 2 kids, Liam is 8 and collects rocks. June is 5 and believes Band-Aids cure feelings. I pay my bills on time. I label leftovers. I'm boring in the best way. Sunday night, we were at my parents' house for lasagna. The TV was on mute. My dad clicked a pen like it owed him money. My sister, Ava, lounged on the couch in her gym set, perfectly tanned, scrolling. I was telling Mom about Liam's science fair volcano. She wasn't listening. She was watching Ava's phone like it was a movie. Dad chuckled and nudged Mom with his elbow. Face it, he said, nodding toward a photo of Ava's kid at a piano recital. Kathy's kids will never be as successful as Ava's. The room went quiet. Ava smirked. Dad, she said, fake scolding. Then she looked at me. Don't worry. Not everyone can raise prodigies. Liam looked up from his switch. June stopped smearing sauce on her plate. I felt that hot white sting behind my ribs. It wasn't even the words. It was the ease of them. I put my fork down. Okay, I said. Just that. Flat. Dad laughed like I'd told a joke. Don't start, Meg. You know we're just teasing. I swallowed. Sure. Ava's phone pinged. Oh, she said brightly, turning the screen so Mom could see. Deposit cleared. My mother clapped her hands. Praise God. She breathed at a volume that made it a prayer. Liam whispered, What deposit? I squeezed his knee. I took a breath, reached for my water, and tried to let it pass. New rule. Pick my battles. Then Dad added, still smiling, Some people help family without being dramatic about it. Not everything has to be a production. Something in my neck went tight. I stared at the tablecloth and traced one of the little blue diamonds with my thumb. The clock in the kitchen ticked too loud. I counted to 5, 10, 15. Then I stood up. My voice came out steady. I said, If Ava is the standard, then tell her to pay all the bills because I'm not sending money anymore. My mother's head snapped toward me. She said, What money? We never got a cent from you. The fork clattered out of my hand. I didn't start as the family wallet. It just happened in slow circles. I was 20 when Dad's hours got cut, and the mortgage slipped. I took the night shift at the warehouse and brought home envelopes of cash for my tips at the bar on weekends. Just until we catch up, Mom said. She hugged me, cried a little, pressed a to-go container of meatballs into my hands. It felt good, useful. Then Ava moved home for a month between opportunities. The month stretched. I co-signed a phone plan because her credit was temporarily weird. I put gas in my parents' car because Dad forgot his wallet. When I had Liam at 25 and my ex bailed, I thought the help would even out, that they'd see me. They didn't. I was sturdy, so I held more. When June was born, I stepped into a better job. We weren't rich, but we were stable. Autopay became my coping mechanism. I set up the electric bill for my parents because the late fees made me itch. I covered their internet because Dad loved his games. We'll Venmo you, Mom would say. She never did. Then the water was added, just for a few months. Then the property tax. Then Ava's car insurance when she got scammed by a mechanic. Every time, I told myself this would be the last one. I kept track. I had the Notes app to prove it. Line after line, month after month, amounts, due dates, tiny comments like Dad's hospital copay and Ava's tuition deposit, promise to repay. I made color-coded labels, blue for utilities, green for one-time emergencies that turned into subscriptions, orange for Ava. Ava's emergencies were pretty and loud. She'd say, My skincare brand is about to pop. I just need a bridge. My coach said if I invest in myself this quarter, my landlord is a psycho and threatened to evict me for being 1 day late. She called me the morning of my first day back from maternity leave with June. Meg, I'm literally shaking. I'm at the bank, and my card's declined, and they're being so rude. Can you just for today? June was screaming in the back seat. I was already late. I wired her $450 and cried in the parking lot. My parents had a chorus. We're family. You're the responsible one. Don't keep score. It's tacky. We'll pay you back when we can. Ava is trying. The group chat was a minefield. I'd share a photo of Liam's volcano with its lava made of dish soap and food coloring, and Ava would drop a selfie from a rooftop event. Then Mom would comment 12 heart emojis under Ava and nice under mine. If I mentioned swimming lessons, Dad would reply with a screenshot of a bill. Any chance you can cover this week? Dad's check got delayed. If I didn't reply fast enough, Mom would write, Kathy, are you okay? We're worried. And there was the Sunday night cash envelope, the one I put in the bread box because Dad hated digital. It started at $50, then $100. The last 6 months, it was $300. Folded once, pressed under the plastic bag of hamburger buns. If I forgot, Mom would text me the next morning. Bread box was empty. No thank you, just that. The worst part wasn't the money. It was the stories. When I got the promotion, Mom told the Aunt Ava coached Megan on interviewing. She wouldn't have gotten it otherwise. When I asked Dad to watch Liam for 2 hours so I could take June to the doctor, he sighed and said, Your sister is busy. She works on her brand nonstop. Then he sent me a link to Ava's 30-minute Sunday reset vlog, where she poured iced coffee and wrote boss in a planner. Comments were, Queen, inspire us. I swallowed it because conflict felt like drowning. I kept the peace. I kept the receipts. 2 weeks ago, the call came from the school. Liam needed a retainer. Not cheap. I looked at my budget and realized the line for family was bigger than groceries. I said nothing. I moved numbers around. I cut takeout. I ate the kids' leftover chicken nuggets and pretended I liked it. I told myself once Dad's knee surgery is over, things will ease. Then Sunday happened. The Chuckled, the piano video, the deposit cleared. I knew exactly what deposit. I had moved it Friday morning, $600 to Mom's account to cover their car payment because late fee is brutal. Ava's deposit was her freelance invoice from a brand she got through Mom's friend who made a call. But in our house, money follows volume. Ava is volumi. When I stood and said, Tell her to pay all the bills, my voice shook only on the last word. Mom's face went flat. What money? We never got a cent from you. My ears rang. I saw the bread box, the Venmos, the autopay screens, the time I picked up their power bill the same week I soldered Liam's backpack with fishing lines so I wouldn't have to buy a new one. I saw the little pile of coins in our junk drawer. I saw June putting back a stuffed giraffe at Target because she didn't need him that much. Ava laughed softly. Meg, don't be weird. Nobody asked you to martyr yourself. Dad pointed his pen at me. Enough drama, he said. Sit down. Eat. I looked at my kids, their faces, my boy's clenched jaw, my girl's mouth in a small O. I understood exactly what this was. Not a misunderstanding, a script. I didn't sit. I pulled out my phone, opened the Notes app, and scrolled. The list was long enough that my thumb got tired. October, $185 water. November, $219 gas. December, $300, cash bread box. January, $112 internet. March, $450, urgent car thing for Ava. April, $600 car payment. May, $90 copay. June, $300. Dad rolled his eyes. Put that away. I didn't. You said you never got a cent, I said to Mom. That's not true. Her chin lifted. We never asked you for anything. Ava snorted. She's doing that thing again. I clicked open my bank app. These are transfers to your account, I said quietly. I turned the screen so Mom could see. This is the electric bill portal with your address. This is the auto-pay confirmation for your water and garbage. These are screenshots of my texts sending the confirmation codes when you forgot your password. Here's the receipt when I paid the DMV fee on your car because you said Dad's card kept declining. Mom's mouth opened, closed. Color rose to her cheeks. I don't keep track of that stuff. Your father handles it. Good, I said. Dad. He leaned back in his chair, pen ticking faster. Why are you trying to embarrass your mother? I'm not. I'm telling you I'm done. My voice surprised me. Calm, not a tremor. I'm not paying for this family's phone plan. I'm not covering late fees. I'm not putting cash in a bread box. If Ava is the successful one, tell her to take over. Ava lifted her palms. I didn't ask for any of this. Don't put your resentment on me. I'm putting the bills on you. The ones I've been paying. Mom slapped the table. The salt shaker jumped. You ungrateful girl, she hissed low and sharp. We raised you. We fed you. We watched your babies while you built your career. How dare you come into my house and accuse us? I watched you watch my babies 3 times last year, I said. Because I keep numbers when people use feelings like weapons. Twice for 2 hours. Once for 50 minutes. Ava scoffed. God, you're exhausting. Dad stood. You think you're somebody because you have a salary. You think money makes you better. I shook my head. I think money pays for water. I looked at my kids. Get your shoes. Liam slid from the chair. June hopped down. She took my hand like she was 5 and afraid of ghosts. As we reached the door, Dad called after me, his voice hard. You're choosing to break this family. I didn't look back. No, I said. I'm choosing to stop funding it. They blew up my phone before I hit the end of the block. Mom, you humiliated us in front of your sister. Dad, bring the kids back. We need to talk without little ears. Ava, for your information, our parents are hurt. You always do this when things are going well for me. Therapy. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. We drove home with the windows cracked. June fell asleep mid-complaint about her seatbelt. Liam stared out at the streetlights and said softly, I knew you paid for the internet. I didn't answer. My hands were shaking too much to hold 2 truths at once. My son knew. And I was the one who taught him to notice. On Monday, I canceled the autopays. I spent my lunch break on hold with 3 different utility companies. Effective immediately, I said into 3 different robotic voices, remove my card. I changed the phone plan password and took my parents' line off the account. I closed the joint Costco membership Dad had insisted I open because the executive rebate makes it worth it. I turned off the $300 cash reminder on my calendar. I sat at my desk and stared at the sudden clean gaps. At 3:12 p.m., Mom called from a different number. I answered. Water got shut off, she said, breathless like I'd set a fire. Is this your doing? It's the city's doing, I said. They need payment. Silence then. We don't have it this week. I exhale. Ask Ava. She gasped like I'd slapped her. She's just getting her business off the ground. How can you be so cruel? Cruel? I repeated. Okay. And I hung up before I said something that would rake me later. Text from Dad a half hour later. You will not punish us because your life is hard. I put my phone face down and opened my spreadsheet. I added one last column at the end. End date. I typed yesterday's date on every row. It felt like telling my own blood. This artery is closed. It got louder by Wednesday. My aunt texted to say she heard I was cutting off my parents to chase a man, which would have been funnier if I hadn't been single for 3 years. A cousin DM'd me a reel about honoring father and mother with a finger-pointing emoji. My mother wrote in the family chat, "We will be fasting and praying for Kathy. Please lift her up." Ava reacted with a heart. Meanwhile, my house got lighter. Liam noticed first. "We're eating at the table?" he asked, confused when I pulled plates out at 6:15 on Tuesday. "Yeah," I said. "No calls tonight. We ate tacos." June told a joke with no punchline and laughed so hard she fell off her chair. After they went to bed, I sat on the living room floor with a cup of tea and a calculator. Numbers that had been tight for months suddenly had air. The space where money go to disappear was quiet. On Friday, the city called my parents' overdue balance in and slapped a late fee on top. Mom texted me a photo of the shut-off notice and wrote, "This is on your conscience." I stared at it for a full minute. Then I put my phone down, went outside, and pulled weeds by the porch until my hands were black with soil. It felt like penance and relief at the same time. By week 2, the story started to crack. The neighbor posted on the neighborhood app about a generator humming all night at my parents' address. Someone asked if everything was okay. Aunt Lori wrote in the extended family chat, "Does anyone know why the internet at your parents' is down? I need Dad to send me the church bulletin file." No one tagged me. No one asked me. But in the separate cousin chat, yes, there are 3, my cousin Nadia messaged me privately. "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Good. About time." The kids adjusted fast. Liam asked if he could sign up for chess club now that we weren't running errands for Grandpa after dinner. That one sat with me. How many afternoons had I dragged them to pay stations and pharmacies because a grown man forgot his wallet? The 3rd Sunday, I stayed home. I told Mom we were starting a new ritual. Pancakes, library, park. No response. At noon, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Ava on my stoop in sunglasses, carrying a tote bag that said, "Girl Boss." Behind her, a man I didn't know leaned against a white SUV. She walked in like it was her house. "You've made your point," she said, dropping her sunglasses onto my counter. "Parents are stressed. It's not good for Dad's heart." "Mine either," I said. "You're being punitive. It's not a good look, especially on a single mom's salary." I raised an eyebrow. "I make more than you think." "Okay," she said, bored. "Then you can resume what you were doing before you had your little episode. I'll take over the phone plan. You handle the rest." "Fair." I blinked. "No." She tilted her head. "Why are you doing this? You know they won't change." "I know," I said. "I'm changing." She laughed. "Fine," she said, grabbing her tote. "When Mom gets sick from the stress, that's on you. And when Liam drops out of college because you can't afford tuition, remember who chose pride." It was so ridiculous I almost laughed. Instead, I said, "If college is a competition, maybe your prodigy can fund the scoreboard." She flinched, just a flicker. Then she left. That night, Mom texted, "We're disappointed in you." Dad added, "You'll come around. Ava, remember to send the login for Netflix." Then a wink emoji. I blocked Ava. I muted the thread. I turned off the lamp and let the dark sit with me like a friend. It didn't swallow me. It held. I wish I could say there was a grand apology. There wasn't. People who rewrite history don't suddenly run out of ink. What happened was smaller and truer. Dad called last week. No preamble. "The water's back on," he said. "Rough. We figured it out." "Good," I said. "A beat. You don't have to, you know." "I know," I said. "We'll manage," he said like a dare. "I hope so." Another beat. He cleared his throat. "Your boy's chess trophy." That was something. I smiled where he couldn't see it. It was. We hung up. No, sorry, no confession. But something unclenched in me. I had waited for them to see me and missed all the ways my kids already did. Sunday. I poured pancake batter into the pan, and June danced in the doorway in socks, almost slipping every time the dog wagged past her. Liam lined up his rocks on the windowsill, in careful order. I looked at the 2 of them at my kitchen table, with the sticky maple spot on the table, and the new plant slowly reaching for the window, and I realized I wasn't angry. I was done. I wrote one last note in the app. Final. The money stopped. The story didn't. That's okay. Then I wrote another line just for me. I will not be a wallet with a heartbeat. At church, Aunt Lori hugged me longer than usual and slipped a grocery store gift card into my hand for the kids' snacks. I almost told her we were fine. Then I saw her eyes. Not pity, not gossip, relief. Like someone else had been waiting for permission to stop performing. In the parking lot, Nadia waved from her car. "Chess champ!" she yelled to Liam. He blushed, grinning. On the drive home, June fell asleep, with a pancake in her fist. Liam asked if we could go to the library. We did. We checked out a book about volcanoes and another about rock crystals. On the way out, I caught our reflection in the glass. Me with a tote full of library books, hair in a messy knot, tired eyes, my son carrying a stack like treasure, my daughter with syrup on her cheek. Not glamorous, not a brand. Ours. That night, I sent Mom a photo of the kids in their pajamas, both holding up their library cards. I typed, "We're good. Love you." Then I put my phone face down and played Uno until bedtime. Here's the truth I keep now. Love isn't measured in invoices. Boundaries aren't cruelty. My kids don't need to be as successful as anyone. They need me present, not drained. They need lights that turn on, because I paid for our home. Not for a month in, the budgeting app pings me with a surplus. I schedule Liam's retainer. I sign June up for swim lessons. I buy fresh strawberries without checking the price twice. It feels small. It feels like oxygen. And when the group chat flares up with something loud and shiny and not mine, I let it scroll past me like weather. I make dinner. I label leftovers. I tuck 2 sleepy bodies into bed and whisper the only score that counts. You are loved. You are safe. You don't owe anyone your peace. I chose to stop funding a story that erased me. The bill came due. I paid my part. And then I closed the tap. I thought the silence after would be scary. It wasn't. It was honest. I'm not sending money anymore. I'm sending my kids into a home with rules and laughter and lights we keep on ourselves. That's the success I care about. That's the one I'm building.